in a hotel room. Yeah. He's got a laptop propped up on a pizza box from Hungry Howie's. This is television in 2025. All right, you get the life. What is that? Is that? What is that?
Schedule.
Because with the hotel room, you got to take the lampshades off the lamps. You got to position. I've been there, man.
Is that a suitcase?
Yeah.
Everything is sitting up.
Yeah, that's my suitcase. That's my suitcase.
Whatever it takes.
Plus the unmade bed in the background. Boy, this is a glamorous life you got working there, RC. Phenomenal. We love it, and we love you for it. Okay. Let's dive into more football with RC's levels of success. This is an idea we had in the post show yesterday that I think is interesting. Let's talk about a couple of players, and let's talk about what would constitute success for those players this year. RC, what would success look like for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers this year?
I mean, the first thing is health. I think secondly, it would be Aaron Rodgers playing above average in the pass game this entire season and getting this team past the first round of the playoffs. We know that Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers have struggled to get one playoff win in almost a decade. And so for Aaron Rodgers to come in there and to beat that thing that pushes them over the top in a wild card game, gets them to the divisional round of the playoff, maybe even an AFC championship, to me, that's the ceiling for this team, and that would constitute success. And it wouldn't be one of those situations where we're expecting him to win it all.
I think that's reasonable and interesting. Dominique, what do you think? What does success look like to you for Aaron Rodgers' Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to combine the expectations for Aaron Rodgers with the expectations of the Steelers, and I think that lands at winning at least one playoff game. I think the Mike Tomlin situation in Pittsburgh, the fan base at least is getting a little tired of being really, really good all the time, but not winning a playoff game, which I'm sure a lot of teams would trade with them immediately. But the expectations there are what they are, and with Aaron Rodgers, I think health is the biggest thing that he needs to overcome at this point in his career, and at this point, or at this age, he needs to be healthy and get them to and past the wild card round of the playoffs. And after that, anything plus that or anything on top of that will be icing on the cake.
It's interesting to me, Dan, because he went to the Jets, and we were having Super Bowl conversations. Remember that? And the Jets, of course, are the Jets. And now he goes to the Steelers, and we're saying if he wins a playoff game, then it's a success. That's I don't disagree fundamentally, but it is an interesting little juxtaposition.
I think the 2 years with the Jets reminded us where he is in his career, which is certainly not at the beginning or the middle. And he gets hurt and misses a full season, and then he has the ups and downs of last year. So, yes, I think if you're the Steelers and you're Aaron Rodgers, I feel like the fan base, and I don't like to speak for a fan base, but it seems to me that the only way they'd be happy is a playoff run or they stink and they can draft whoever they want in the draft next year, quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the two outcomes.
Right.
If you're a Steelers fan, you're hoping for one of them.
Fair enough. Okay, let's get to the next one, RC. We're doing your levels of success. Let's go to Chicago. What would constitute success for Caleb Williams and the Bears?
You know what? I don't even necessarily know if it's about the amount of games they win. It's about the way Caleb Williams looks. Now you have Ben Johnson as your offense coordinator and head coach. How do you find a way to look like you have mastered the offense, that you are playing on time, that you're making good decisions, and then on top of making those good decisions, we see those Caleb Williams plays that made you a Heisman Trophy winner as a sophomore at USC. This team is in an incredibly tough division, right? When you think about the Detroit Lions, you think about the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. So overall team success may be difficult to come by, but you need to see Caleb Williams on the field and look over at Jordan Love, look over at Jared Goff, and say that the Chicago Bears have a quarterback that's just as good as those guys.
If you were here, I would kiss you. I am so happy to hear someone finally say that. Dominique, success for the Bears this year will not be measured in wins and losses. Obviously, everyone who roots for them will want them to win. The Bears need to develop a quarterback so that for the next 15 years they will be competitive. They need to be what Buffalo is and what Baltimore is and what all these other teams that have the guy. And they've never been, in 100 years, they've never been. Success this year will be defined by whether or not you finish the season saying, we've got the guy, finally.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure. Is the kiss a reward or is it a punishment? So it means you decide how do I not get kissed? Is what I want to know. What do I say to ensure that next time I see Mike Greenberg, he keep his grody lips to himself? But
as soon as I said that, I regretted it. By the way, just let the record show, Dan, literally the minute that came out of my mouth, I thought, no, that wasn't the right way to go with that. There had to be some other reward I was offering. If you were here, I would give you $20.
A high five would do.
Yeah.
That'll do. We cannot kiss. But the thing that I think is a little inconsistent with what you're saying, Greeny, is that roster is so good that if Caleb demonstrates that he is a long-term solution at quarterback, that team's going to make the playoffs. It's going to be really good. That defense is so talented. And the addition that they made to the offensive line, if Ben Johnson is able to recreate a running game like he had in Detroit, this team is going to be really good if their quarterback is at least above average. If he's as good as what we projected for Caleb Williams, then we're having realistic conversations about a championship in Chicago.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, Dominique raised a good point, because I'm kind of like RC, thinking that if you're the Bears and you come out of this year feeling as good about Caleb Williams as, say, the Patriots felt about Drake May at the end of last year, right? Like that level of encouragement, this is the guy, then that's fantastic. But to Neek's point, the Bears have a lot more than last year's Patriots did. So I do think that's interesting to see where he can take it. Look, it's the first-time head coach. It's a quarterback that hasn't proven anything at the pro level yet. I think fundamentally, if the Bears get to the end of this season and they believe they have their franchise quarterback and they're ready to build on that, everybody there will be through.
Let me get one more in the time I have here, RC, because I mean we talk about them all the time, and there's a lot of mixed projection. What would success look like to you for Dak Prescott's Dallas Cowboys?
It's only one thing, or it's only one way that they're successful. If Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC East, and if this team gets to an NFC championship, that's what success is for the Dallas Cowboys. Anything else is going to be us not saying that they necessarily underachieve, but just saying, again, that they are non-factors outside of the fact that they rate. He got to be better than Jalen Hurts. He has to be better than Jayden Daniels. He has to go out and show that he can carry a football team. You have two big-time wide receivers. Let's see you go make plays.
I think that's an interesting way to look at it. If Dominique, you look skeptical. You know, I'm going to have to bookmark this because we ran out of it. I'm going to want to come back to this one at some point here, Eric, because I think it is an interesting thought. Just because the expectations are markedly lower doesn't mean that if we get to the end of the season and they're in the playoffs, we're going to say, oh, what a terrific year they had if they flame out. Let me leave it there for the moment because we don't have the time, but we'll come back to it as we go. We're getting back to the KD deal.
Mọi người bây giờ mình sẽ tiếp tục với các bạn làm lá lên nha. Bắt đầu nha. Thì anh ở ngoài kia sao á? Nên đem lên cối thôi. Đây à?
Bye.